Hello, Wapplers from around the world. This is year 4 of our Wappler meetups. Wapplers meet up once every month on the second Friday at 4 o'clock Netherlands time. If you're a Wappler that would like to present or have a favorite tip or trick that you use with Wappler or site that you'd like to show off, please reach out to me. We'd certainly like to promote your efforts on our meetup. Today, we have a very special guest that doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. Mr. Brian English is known on the forum as Hyperbytes. He has videos extraordinaire on YouTube. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Brian English all the way from London, England.
Hello, welcome everybody. Great to see you all here. I hope you all liked our little change of approach to these meetings to try and tease you a little, to try and encourage a few more people to join us. I think probably most will have guessed fairly early on that it was email related, but what we've got here is I'm going to show you my latest Node.js extensions for managing IMAP. So I suppose the first thing I should do is share a screen. Is everybody seeing that?
Yeah, we've got an inbox.
Lovely. Yeah, great. Right. Basically, this is a number of extensions for Wappler, which will allow you to interface with an IMAP server at server level. And then what you see this here is a fairly clunky interface that I've written just to show you how these different actions interact. And I'm going to work most of today with the developer console open so you can see what the responses are from the various calls that we'll be making as we go through it. Should hopefully be seeing Wappler now.
Yes, sir.
Just so you're aware, just open a gash. What we have is a number of extensions here, which extends the current email functionality. I've always felt email was a little bit of a weak point for Wappler. So I thought, let's go for it. Let's try an integration. So basically, the system calls these various extensions which return or manipulate the information that you send to it. So let's just have a look at the basics. We've got a simple email box here. I'm just going to refresh that screen. I'm running locally at the minute, but towards the end, I will show you running live on a server and actually give you the opportunity to interact with it. I don't want to leave it open for too long. I've got it currently suspended the domain because I don't want anybody finding it by chance and using it as an email relay. But if I just do a refresh there, there's only 8 emails in this particular mailbox. I have tried this on a mailbox just under 1,000. Response time was still sub 1 second. So it's really quick. All we've done there is we've called 3 server actions and we've got the response from it. Before I go any further, I need to just explain a few, shall we say, quirks of IMAP. I don't know how many of you have used IMAP before. Big one is that every message has a UID, and you'll be able to see there. This, for instance, that one's got a UID of 30. They also have an ID, and that ID is basically just an index. So the IDs for these will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have 3 emails, let's say, in a mailbox, 3 new emails, so they're all going to have an ID of 1 and a UID of 1, 2, and 3, respectively. If you delete an email, that ID changes because it's simply an index, but that UID obviously will remain fixed. So if you have 3 emails, you delete number 2, you'll have an ID of 1 and 2, but a UID of 1 and 3. That makes sense. The downside is that these UIDs for IMAP mailboxes are only unique within that individual mailbox. So something with a UID in the inbox would not be the same as something with a UID in, say, the trash or whatever. So we've got to be able to manage that. And what we have is also there's something called a UID validity, and that is effectively another ID for the mailbox itself. So you can actually ensure that it's the right email in the right box. So every call that we do, basically we're passing an ID, we're passing the UID validity, and we're actually passing the mailbox name. And the reason for that is the only way you can get the mailbox name from the UID validity, which is like its unique reference, is to actually pass the whole, all of the mailboxes, which is slow. So we send it. So you'll see those three standard things are sent to the server in every call. Other couple of little quirks. Folder names are not actually fixed within the IMAP standard, or neither is the separator where you have a subfolder. So if I just click into a subfolder here, you'll see inbox/test folder. Some will use a dot, which again causes a little bit of a problem, and mainly trash and sent items. There's no consistency in the naming. So if we go into Wappler again, and I go into the settings for server connect, I'm just going to drag that off screen for a second because I'm going to remove a password so you can't see that. What we see is we've got a number of environment variables that have been set, which controls all of your interfacing. So you've got the IMAP server, password, the host, the port. We define the name of the deleted folder. In this case, my servers use trash. We also need what I call the sub-separator. In other words, that's the character between inbox and the subfolder. That could be a slash or a dot. Sent name we need to set. We can set the TLS settings globally, and there's actually a download folder as well that I'm working on for the if you're downloading attachments. So that's basically where your settings reside, albeit we have the ability to be able to override them. I'll just make sure that setting has gone back the way it was. Yeah, well, you've got the opportunity to override them if we need to within our calls. So I'm going to go for the most simple action, and that is the one we've just seen, and that is get all the email headers. All we do is we send it a mailbox name, we have an optional page for offset and payload, or you can just have the lot, and we could also override those settings if we want to with manual settings if that's required. So it allows you to send them dynamically rather than to pull them from the environment variables. So we start with the basics. We're back in our inbox. Please ask any questions if anybody wants to. Refresh that. We'll see that screen, we actually have 3 calls there. We have a call to download the headers, and you can see there, that's the data that's returned for each email. You can see how the IDs and the UIDs don't match. You've got your headers of the emails from and to, any CC, BCC, subject, a few technical things, dates, flags, and details of attachments. No content at that point, note, because we don't actually need the content at that point. We don't want to be downloading the content of hundreds of emails at the same time. So what we do is to get the content of the email. Have I just stupidly closed Wappler? I think I might have done. Oh, you fool, you fool, you fool. Give me a second while I just reopen it.
We break
Can't
for
wait
commercial.
live.
Oh, commercial's over. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when we want an email, there's a further call, get UID by ID, which is a extension get email content. And if basically we send that, our UID, your UID validity, that's a unique reference of that mailbox and the mailbox name. And from there, when we click on, I'll click on a random, it's our Wappler email. There we are. That pulls the details of that email down, and then it is displayed within your screen. And there's the output of it, just so you can see. And it deals with all of the decoding of the images, etc., because they're all 64 encoded, etc. And then you have the ability to reply, and if they've got attachments, download the attachments that you want. All very simple, basically. Any questions before I go on? Anybody want to?
What made you do this?
I was bored. Most of my extensions come through boredom.
Yeah.
I like to keep the brain ticking over. The best way of doing, because I'm still supporting, I think, 2 old customers. I'm not taking on any new ones, but I like to keep the brain ticking over. Generally, it'll be something like a post in the forum or something that'll just think, that's an interesting one. I'll have a play with that. This was designed to be something very simple, and it's the sort of bare bones of it I wrote within about 6 or 8 hours. And then it was the tweaking and, could I make it do this? Could I make it do that? That's made it blossom into something far bigger.
Was it easy reading up on the IMAP structure and
it's very easy when you've got a helper called Mr. Copilot.
Of course.
I'll be honest, HJSON, none of the AI systems seem to understand anything about Wappler and HJSON. That still needs to be hand coded. In terms of the actual JS itself, I'm more and more now just letting AI do that, and then just making manual tweaks or whatever. In fact, often the tweaks are, I'll just tell it to make the tweaks for me. It's getting really good with Node. And I'm not using the Wappler one as such. I just use the bog standard Copilot. It's built into Windows, and that's written virtually all of the code here. So you can do it very, very quickly.
Which engine are you using?
Whatever Copilot does by default.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally is as simple as, sitting on a taskbar on Windows, you would now get a Copilot button. I just click on that to tell it what I want, and it does it. So I'm guessing, probably being Microsoft product, it'll be ChatGPT in the background, because they own that as well. But to be honest, I don't know for certain. But say if you ask it anything about HJSON, forget it. It just doesn't have a clue. Right. So again, a little bit of a sort of story about what happens. You'll see I've got a couple of extra columns here. One for the UID is just to tell you, to be able to show you each one as a unique ID. I also show the flags, and that is the flags that sets whether things are being seen, forwarded, deleted, etc. And if I was to just click on the envelope there, you'll see it's gone blue, because what I've done is I've just sent a remove flag instruction to it to remove the seen flag, and as a result, that flag's gone. That's now a unseen message. Excuse me. I can also flag it, in the email boxes, flag them for important, etc. Click on that, and you'll see it just adds the flagged message to that. And again, we can just remove that if we want. Got two dustbins here, because again, it's not a standard. If you delete a message within the IMAP environment, some will have a trash folder of some sort, and they will delete it and move it to the trash folder. Some will just leave it in the inbox, but just mark it as deleted. So I've given you the ability to be able to do either of those. So let's use this exact example again. This one is flag is deleted. And you'll see I've added the deleted flag to it. Where this one, I'll just remove that again. This one is actually delete, and that will then be moved into the deleted folder. There. And you'll see that's done by just a simple call again. It's set to delete, but also you optionally within the server action, I'm going to show you that because the delete mail is actually two actions. The first one effectively sets the deleted flag. The second one, you can optionally then move it to a different folder, which is what that action's done. But we still haven't removed it completely from the mailbox. Remember, most email clients have a clean up deleted items, empty trash type call. And again, we have that action to do that. And I've just linked that action to here, delete trash. And it basically does what's called an email purge. And that's removed, or that was deleted items completely out of the system. What we got next, folders, we can move things around. So the paperclip just shows as an attachment, by the way. Folder, so we can move things to different folders. I'll move that to the test folder, move, that's it gone. And now if we go into test folder, we move that email into that folder. So we have complete management of the folder structure. We can also create folders, etc. Through another action. At the moment, it creates folders, but not subfolders, but not nested subfolders. That's just because I haven't got the code finished on that. So you can actually nest it so you can be able to manage all of your emails within that structure. We obviously have our deleted sent items when we send something or send into there. So if I go into new message, this is just a simple form with a summer note entry into it, and that's your sending message. It also allows you to use the standard HTML file or your drop zone to be able to add your attachments to that email, and that the routine itself is compatible with the file upload server action. So it will do the upload, it will then attach them to the email before sending the email, and then it will move it optionally into the sent items folder should you wish.
Do you have a contact piece in there? How do you manage the contacts?
I don't have contacts set up on this. I mean, it'd be very easy to do if you're talking about that, because this is just a straightforward HTML, Wappler App Connect application. So if you had contacts in there, then we could just attach them to the drop down. Are you thinking specifically about pulling contacts out of your mailbox? Sorry, your IMAP mailbox?
No, I'm working on an app now that I'm dealing with contacts and dealing with vendors and trying to keep that all separated and cleared up. And I've got don't have the email piece in there, but it's a thought that it's a tracking system. Here in America, we have a lot of HOAs, homeowners associations, and it's a nightmare for many people. And I've built an app to track what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, in that integrating the two, within your app, if you've simply got an action that will return a list of users and their email addresses, you could simply convert the two that we have here into a select. So you could do a drop down or even an Ajax form and just select them from there, add them in. You probably use Tagify into it. You know, this is really just, this is an app connect application. So it's your limits are really down to your imagination on that one.
Right.
Brian, I have
And
a
obviously,
question.
so go on.
The, have you done any testing on this with different email clients and with the when you style something in Summernote, what it looks like on the other end in different email clients?
I haven't as yet because that's going to be the next bit I'm going to do, Mark. So I'll be interested to see what they look like at the other end.
Well, if you're
This is all based around an NPM, node NPM called IMAP. It is, I haven't yet tested it with Gmail, but that particular NPM is Gmail compatible. It can be a little bit fiddly, as Gmail often is, because of the security it's there. You'll have to create an app password rather than using standard passwords to be able to interface with it. But this should work with any IMAP server. And if it doesn't, let me know, and I'll obviously see if I can tweak it accordingly.
I
What
was
I would
wondering
like to
if
do,
you had to do any types of different encodings to read different encoding. I did a system like this, similar to this, and I found like if someone sent a text message from their phone or sent it from Gmail or different systems, like some sent with base 64 and some sent with like I forget all the different ones, bit 8 and
yeah.
or did you do anything like that with it
Yeah,
or did you
Jeff.
not?
To be honest, it's a little bit of a black box, that one, in terms of I use a NPM that assembles it all, so it does all the hard work. Simple Mailer, if I remember right, is what's pulling it all together. IMAP is the basis behind it, and a few other emails there. So if the NPM is capable of doing it, then it will do that. What I was going to say this earlier, is if anybody would like to, the email address is demo@hyperbytes.co.uk. If anybody would like to just ping some emails across, and we'll have a look and see what they look like when they come in at this end.
You just wanted us here to help do your beta testing.
Basically, yes. But I'm allowed to, because I am doing the apps for you, not for me. So I'm allowed a little bit of flexibility.
gonna
So when this is finished, I'll just move on to another project and forget about this. You know, like so one signal and such that I've done. I've never looked at since I released the extensions. If someone's got a bug, I'll look at them again. Other than that, nah. New challenge.
when you get into the testing, and if you want it, I'd be more than happy to help out if you need any assistance.
Thank you for that. Oh, thanks, Jeff. There's your simple email there. No attachments. And that's come through with the link, etc. No problem at all. Jim.
I kept it simple.
Yeah, that is very simple. It's got no content.
No, actually it had should have been test.
Yeah. Let's just try that again. Right, we need to investigate that one, because that's actually not returning. Oh, for some strange reason, I'm suddenly getting a unauthorized error from the system. Oh, there we are. That's
During a live presentation.
yeah, just so yep, that's come through. What I'll do is towards the end, I will actually, I've got this online as well, and I'll actually allow you to do it for send. But say with new message, if I was to just send one to myself,
Wonder what Freud would say about that.
Is it set to auto refresh?
I haven't, no, but that's simply, it's an App Connect application. It's just a website that's managing this. So because it's Node, there's no reason why you can't detect that and force a refresh. But I haven't on this occasion. Probably would have done, I had a bit of a disaster with my internet connection last Saturday, and I've only got it back last night. So I lost a week of development time. So it's just not quite as polished as I would have liked it to have been. Yeah, that's just add an attachment. If we send that, then that's all it takes. Now, the send routine, when I find, there we are. If we look right, we've got the fields there, very similar to what you had before. Actually, that's now, excuse me, I'm really confused here because that is not what's meant to be there. So I've actually rebuilt this computer last night, and we got obviously something playing up. Let me find IMAP send mail. That's what I should have been seeing. Where it says SMTP global configuration. I can't, the standard for writing modules and formatters within Wappler does not allow dynamic selects. So what we can't interface directly with your globals. In this case, global as I'm using SMTP. What I have been able to do is if you actually just write its name exactly in there, then what I do is I actually pull that JSON file from the server, parse it, and then use that as the settings for the send mail. So you don't actually have to add the settings for the send mail yourself. It will find your settings within the server. Right, what else have we got? That's probably about the, oh, and also create subfolders. It's you can literally just create that, and we throw in another error. Don't know what's going on. I've got a horrible feeling I might have a little bit of a version matching here. Oh, I know what's going on. I've closed Wappler again.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Stupid me.
Now a commercial break from our sponsor.
Yeah. That's
You sign up for Wappler for 1 year. You don't get one, you get 2 free months of Wappler.
let's just reopen that.
And if you sign up now, there's more. And if you sign up
We're back. Yeah, I got a message in there from John. And we've got a message in there from Mark as well. Attachments. Just got a random one there with 2 attachments. You'll see listed in the file names of the attachments there. But all we've got is the file names at that stage. Obviously, again, you don't want to be pulling the attachments down from the server every time you open an email. So I've got a routine which basically pulls the attachments out of the email and saves them to a directory on your server, which you specify within the server action. So if I click download attachments, I'll just open that up again. download attachments. You can see that's then pulled them down and they become actual links. And if you want to open the thing, you can then save it directly from that screen. So you've got your management of your attachments as well at the same time. You can obviously also reply to your messages directly from there. And we also have a save as draft, which will create that as a draft, but there's a few problems with that routine at the minute. So that was supposed to be, it has actually saved them in the drafts. It just hasn't refreshed the screen. So you can save a draft and then you can reopen that draft. And that doesn't work properly because I'm working on that routine as we speak. Any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about the extensions and how they were built, where you get them?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Mark?
How can Wapplers get the extensions that you're using?
Oh, right. These will, I've got a bit of tweaking, a bit of tidying up. These will be uploaded to an NPM repository, so they'll be able to load them directly into Wappler in the standard method that you would have for any extension. And it will obviously install all of the required dependencies for you at the same time.
Awesome. But when you get that complete, please let us know. We'll make sure to include that.
It'll be out probably by next weekend, I would think. It should have been finished now, but say when my internet connection collapsed last Saturday, it sort of paralyzed me, shall we say, in terms of what it could actually do.
No worries, Brian. Whenever you're ready.
But just go back into this though. Let's just allow you to see the different things. These are the two Wappler standard ones, the setup mail and the send mail. This will just count the number of emails within your current selected mailbox, create a folder within that, delete a message, deleting a folder, list of all the main mailboxes on your system. That's actually quite important. I should have highlighted that. I'll show you in a minute. Expunge, that's a technical term for when it's dumping all the trash from your trash can. Flagging and unflagging your emails, getting your attachments, getting the email content, collecting all the headers, moving between folders, removing and adding flags, save as draft, send a mail, store a copy of it. And that's a diagnostic that's in there at the minute, because sometimes trash folders within the SMTP environment can have some pretty weird permissions. Some servers won't allow you to access it. So that's just a quick one that I've been using during development to be able to look at the folder permissions within that. Yeah, I'm sort of out of the main thing at the moment. So I would welcome any questions.
I've got a suggestion that
Sure.
has occurred to me, which, I mean, this is an excellent kind of basically a webmail system.
Yes, that's basically what it is. Yeah.
It works incredibly well. But it's occurred to me that some of these components that you've created could be a really good way for clients to write content for their website that you've created. So you could give them an email address to send the content to, some special code or whatever to put in the subject so that you don't get hit with loads of spam and the like. And they send an email with a blog post or updated content or whatever, and you then just receive that into the system, manipulate it however you want to, and then remove it from the box.
That's a great little idea, John. Yeah, because there's absolutely no complications I can see to be able to pick up that email, extract the content that you've already got an application. In fact, you could actually do it yourself if you think about it, because when you get your
it's just
email, the content is there.
It's
a JSON response. You can just pick up that JSON response and then just within a server action push it out somewhere else into a database field or whatever.
And you
Right.
can even set it to only accept mail from a certain email address. So you
Absolutely,
say to
yeah.
the
You
client,
you could
right, send
actually
it to your
you could
email and you can
check
update your content.
check the from email address and just reject it if it's not from the right place. Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's a couple of other things I wanted to add into this. Not finished the draft section. I would like to add message filtering in as well. Again, it's not rocket science. It's not that difficult to do. So we'd have a filter box there as well. So you'd just be able to type in keyword or keywords. I'll have to have a look at that. Well, the software deals with multiple words, how it would work, and be able to filter your mailboxes just in case you've got a huge big mailbox. I say I've only tested it up to about 1,000, and the response was absolutely phenomenal, sub 1 second. So I don't, for all I put that paging in there, I don't really envisage it will be needed if it's managed within the folders. If you're dropping things into subfolders as you're dealing with them, you might have subfolders of client dealt with or whatever. Then your main mailbox is going to stay fairly tight anyway. So, okay, I'm going to just,
I have a question.
sure, go ahead, Mark.
Go back to the screen that showed the different mail options.
Yep.
Started off with the 2 Wappler, then plus the extensions you added.
This one, you mean?
Yes, and you said one of them was very important, and I forgot which one that was. Was that the list mailboxes?
Well, yeah, sorry, yeah, I need to mention that basically when we call our emails, you'll see the mailbox list there. I've got another authentication failure for some bizarre reason there. Tell you what I'm going to do. Give me one moment.
Okay.
It's,
Now we break for.
I've found it. Localhost for Wapplers has been a little bit quirky lately. It keeps turning it off and doing so. I'm going to go into production version. Yes, it is out there. No, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Take your time, Brian. You're doing well.
That's the one we want to look at. That's actually running live now. That's on a demo website. I've just enabled it. Just really did that so you could see the performance in a live situation. So if we click on that, you can see that the response times are great. If we do a refresh, I'm starting to wonder whether my ISP is actually starting to rate limit me because I've been hitting refresh so many times. So I'm getting the odd authentication error. But the mailbox list returns the list of mailboxes that are available on your server. And that's where the menu comes from. That is simply a repeat of the response here that starts with inbox. So as you add a new folder, that will automatically appear there because that will be returned by the response that you have in from that server action. If anybody would like to try it, please don't do anything naughty. I'm trusting you folks. If you want to go to the live version of this, which is demo.hyperbytes.co.uk, if you want to try sending an email to yourself, shoving attachments in or whatever, that would be absolutely fine.
Well, it's nice and quick.
Yeah, it is really, really quick. I'm well impressed with the speed. And if you guys could just have a look and see how it comes out within your email client.
One quick thought: it looks like it defaults to dark mode, and the summer note gives
Oh
you
right, yeah,
very
yeah.
dark grey.
That again, that's just the application, the web interface that I've written, which I'm not promoting because it's horrible, it's clunky, it was just thrown together. But yeah,
No,
if
that's fine.
you look, it's actually this little arrow here where you can switch it. Yeah, dark mode doesn't work well with Summer Note. I did find an easy solution for it once, and I've forgotten what it was.
They need to change Summer Note. It's been asked for so many times.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that. It's not even a terribly good editor. Totally out of date, and they keep saying, "Oh, we'll try this, we'll try that, we'll do this," and it just hasn't happened.
No. I just sent myself an email and received it immediately.
Yeah, they're pretty quick servers. It's our old friends 20i that this is running on. This is
Nice.
it's running on a 20i VPS running node.
Good.
So yeah, basically that's the application. Say a bit of tweaking should be out week, fortnight, very outside. Obviously, I'll put the customary post out on the Wappler forum with full instructions, etc., on how to find it, how to download it, to blow-by-blow explanation of each of the components within that. Interface-wise, yeah, so this is horrible and clunky thrown together. That's for you to design. You can design it any way you want. You're basically just making calls to provide the data. It's for you to decide how that you want to display that data within any interface. But it's really easy to use. It's in terms of the things. Say we'll have drafts working thing. I'll try and have filters ready for that. And I'm still waiting for the obvious question that always comes at the end of my presentations from people.
Oh, I don't know if this is going to be that obvious question. If you were to start this all over again, knowing what you know now in Wappler, how long would it take?
Order
If
submitted.
Right, well, if I was to
Order
we,
filled.
if I was to remove the planning end of it, in terms of mental planning and the glitches, etc. Hello, Ben. We've just popped up there. Hi, hello, Dad. I would say there's probably absolute maximum 40 hours, probably significantly less.
That's amazing.
The basics of it, not including things like the savers drafts and this sort of stuff, I actually wrote in about 6 hours. And then since there, it's been, oh, can I make that clever little tweak? Or, for instance, I didn't realize that UIDs were only unique within a mailbox, so I had to add this UID validity code in and mailbox name to all of the server actions. If I'd known that in the first place, then that would have been a big time saver. So call it a week's work maximum, thereabouts.
But this again absolutely highlights the whole point of Wappler.
Yeah, you can make it do anything and make it do anything fairly easily
And
through the
quickly.
extension interface. Yeah. I could have basically demoed most of what we've seen today after the first weekend's development. And then it's just say it's been tweaking, etc. from there. I still haven't found that normal question. Generally comes from John. Does it work
it's
with-
going to be, is there a PHP way of doing it?
Yeah, that is a question I was waiting for. I
And the
had a little
answer's
look at
no.
that. Right, so, well, not quite, no, John. I haven't really done any serious PHP work for 10 years, so I'm pretty rusty. But it would appear that AI can do a pretty good job of conversion. So I'm going to try a conversion from Node.js to PHP. What I'm throwing out there is, if I was to do that, is there anybody out there who would be happy to sort of co-produce a PHP version if I have problems with the code? Because I'm so rusty, if AI doesn't fix it, I'm going to struggle personally. So is any PHP coders there who would, just to be on hand, so I could send them a message saying, I've got this problem, I can't identify what's causing it. Have you got any ideas? then I may well be able to produce a PHP version of this as well.
I'll put my hand up for that. Time permitting.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
That's my only issue.
Yeah, no, I'll give it a try is the answer to that. Whether it'll work or not, because obviously at the moment everything's working through a Node.js npm, but I'm not sure. I think there might be a PHP equivalent. So if we can do that, then it shouldn't be too bad a job. And it'd be nice to be able to push out a PHP version as well. Sorry if anybody mentions .NET or ASP. Ain't done that for a lot of years. So that's not going to happen.
Excellent.
That's me. I'm about all talked out, unless anybody's got questions.
But two things. First off, I'd like to ask everybody to include your country and time zone in the chat. And I'd also like to welcome the, I consider the godfather of Wappler, Mr. Glenn Plaisir in the middle of the night from down under. Welcome, Glenn. Glad you could join us. Yeah, it occurs to me, doing these Wapplers now for a few years, that Wapplers love watching other Wapplers program and during development. Brian, could you take a walkthrough of maybe at least one or two of your server actions to show people?
Yeah, sure.
And just go step by step through it.
Yeah, assuming I understand this code that AI has produced.
Wait a minute. Oh, no. Is this the real Brian English, or is this an AI version of Brian English?
All right, let's have a look at simple. That's what I call the main
Order build.
IMAP headers. So we got usually it's JSON. There's really not much can be said about that. That's fairly standard. The code itself, all your Wappler extensions tend to start with exports, etc. What we've got is the definitions of your settings. I probably didn't explain these in full. If you do not specify manual settings, here, then it will default to anything that you set within the environment variables themselves. So you see here, we're picking up those environment variables from that, but that is actually a default to a optional pass of the input. So if you put a server name in, a host name in, to that previous screen, you will then override the environmental variables version of that. So it is an option. That's why I've added the little drop down here, just so it cleans up the interface a little, that you can hide those inputs accordingly.
Smooth.
Basically, so we've got our IMAP settings set. We're then opening the mailbox. We're doing everything by promise. In other words, things don't return until it's completed. And we're literally working through look through the messages. Again, should have mentioned this. Convention I've used, if the action is successful, you will get a status return of 200. If there is an authorization problem, you will have a status return of 401. Any other error will return a 400 status and a message of the thing. So you have a sort of a quite a comprehensive way in able to detect if you've got a problem, so that you can either retry or take other appropriate action.
So this code you had generated with Copilot.
Yeah, pretty well all of it. A few little tweaks manually, but yeah.
And how did you then copy and paste that code into here?
Right, I'm gonna let's do it live.
Excellent question. Brian English.
The worst that can happen.
Live without a net.
Okay, so write me an IMAP module based on the NPM IMAP to get all headers within a mailbox.
Got a typo there, Brian.
Well, we'll just see how clever they are to deal with my. Now this won't be right at first, and I'll let it finish, and then there we are. It's written a routine. Just use a copy button and let me copy, but it's got it wrong because it's called it in the incorrect method. So as I explained about having to pull in the IMAP and mail parser NPMs, call this module like this. Now I'll rewrite a module for you. There we are. And it hasn't done it a little. Modify to call like this. You know, it's just done it perfectly 100,000 times for me while I've been working on that. Oh, there we are. No. Okay, it's just making a liar out of me by calling them completely. Oh, no, there we are. It's just put it to the end. So we can see that call, that's the Wappler compatible way of doing it. And the code is literally, it's a case of copy it and paste it into your appropriate JS file. Really, really simple. If you want to modify it, you can say things like, in the event of an authorization, please return a status of 001.
You spelled authorization incorrectly.
No, spell it
No, he
English,
hasn't.
mate.
No, he hasn't.
The language is English. We invested it, mate. We invented it. So there we are. That will now amend that code, and you can literally just refine and refine and refine. And Copilot does an absolutely brilliant job of doing that. And that will now find it, if in the event of an error, return status 401 authorization error. And you can tweak it and tweak it and tweak it like iterations until you've got the code to do exactly as you want. It is absolutely phenomenal. So it doesn't do HJSON, it doesn't have a clue, but it does an incredibly good job for writing extensions. Now,
so then how do you take that over to Wappler? How do you incorporate that into?
Yeah, right. So I would just copy that code. And then, I mean, I don't know whether have you ever done any custom extensions
No.
in the past, but all right, basically it's all based around two files that you place in the extensions server connect modules. I don't know what the hell's opening up there, but drive me bonkers. So you have an HJSON file, which is the, I've just opened that up in a different. You have two files. You have an HJSON, which defines the interface, the various input boxes, etc. And then you have an associated JavaScript file, which contains a JavaScript. So you just create those two files. The JS itself, you literally just paste into the JS file. And then, fortunately, the HJSON side of things to define the thing. There's loads of posts that I've done in the past, Bob, about how to do that.
Yeah.
You define your interface. Wappler does the rest. It really is as easy as that.
And then that's where you had your icons, and that's how you then utilize that.
Icon, for instance, there's your definition. You've got the group icon, that's the main mail icon. Then you've got your icon for your particular action. under there, and you've got your title for the action there. So if we look at that particular one, we'll look at IMAP counts.
Gotcha.
Where the hell's it gone?
List is
Count email, sorry, there's the icon, and there's your settings defined. So that's your name, and that was the icon that was defined within here, just a small section here.
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Interesting.
In terms of conversion, this is what I'm hoping to be able to do, is to be able to literally copy the code,
There you go, John. Get ready.
this is scary.
Probably not going to succeed. Maybe it is.
Oh yeah, does it? So my plan is to basically, my next project is going to be really more about whether AI can really do that. Or the alternative is write a PHP script to return all headers from a IMAP server.
So to compare the two outputs.
Presumably, would this, does Wappler let you make extensions in the same way for PHP?
Yeah, all you do, the HJSON is identical,
Yeah.
but while you have the JS file, you have an identical PHP file under the same name.
But
So you'll be
.php
pasting this into a PHP file in exactly the same way. Let's have a look. What I would literally be doing if I want to do the PHP would be to just create a file. Come on. When you want to do it. Oh, I'm in production. Create a file, and it's still not going to do it. Come on. Have we found a little Wappler glitch here? I think I have.
that you have, yeah.
Yeah, we'd be basically been creating IMAP count.php, and you would just paste your code in there. Now you need to just have a quick look at the stuff that Patrick put out on the forum regarding how it's called, the headers, and there is one include that you need to add to it, if I remember rightly. To be able to make it all work, but that's literally how simple it is. If Wappler would let me create a file.
I've got a feeling it was that rogue pop-up you had a few minutes ago.
Possibly, yeah. There's
It's got itself into something or other.
yeah, I think I've got 2 copies of it running. Yeah, I do. I've got another one over here as well. Yeah, there's something lurking in the background that shouldn't be there by the looks of it. But yeah, that's what you've got to do to create a PHP file, John. So I'm going to give it a try. Obviously, you'll be able to get access to the code. Let's see if it works. If Copilot, and I'll try a few of the other. I did try Gemini. It was a bit glitchy on Copilot in terms of the code. But if we can, I'll convert to PHP. Let's run it in PHP. And if we can do that, it's just going to make extensions for Wappler so incredibly easy. We just need to persuade George to come up with something to be able to produce HJSON easily, because it is a bit of a pain to write. You know, every comma, every bracket's got to be in the right place. Otherwise, it just doesn't load.
And is it the free Copilot you're using, or are you on the
Yeah, just standard Copilot. It's built into Windows 11 as standard. See, I've got the various other ones, but it does the job so well. I really don't see why I should waste my time looking at any of the other alternatives.
Great. Awesome. All right, gentlemen,
Want to stop that share?
we're a little bit over an hour here now. So I want to give everybody a chance. Any last minute questions for Mr. English?
Ryan, can I just ask super quickly? I noticed you had all your files separated by action. Is there a reason behind that?
Sorry,
Rather than kind of creating one HJSON and one JS file.
no, only because there's quite a bit of difference in terms of what they're doing. So I create separate ones, but you could include it all into one single file. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I was just wondering if there's a good reason.
It's I find it more manageable. If you've got a missing comma or a missing bracket in a bit of HJSON that's a couple of thousand lines long, they're just such a nightmare to debug. So if I keep them separately, it makes the debugging process so much easier.
Very good. Well, Brian, that was an awesome demonstration. Thank you so much for sharing your talents with us. Let's give Brian a round of applause here and thumbs up.
You just love that sound effect, don't you, Mark?
All right.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Really enjoyed presenting this one. We'll see when we get a PHP version going, and I'll push that out to you at all. In the meantime, anybody got any questions, just drop me a question on the forum, and I'll quite happily address that.
But John will be looking at the PHP version when he returns from holiday.
Probably before then. I've got a couple of weeks. I've got a weekend.
Ryan, if you add me to the PHP testing with John,
Sure.
I'll be trying to help out if I can.
Yeah, sure, Brad. Brilliant. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody.
Yep.
Superb, and you. Thanks, everyone.
We'll see everybody the second Friday in June for our 38th meetup. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish you guys a safe and prosperous month, and we look forward to seeing you in June. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.